The Democratic Alliance is contesting the forthcoming local government elections on the platform of change, and the party is promising job creation as the major issue for them. The DA has even tapped a well-known businessman who many might say is a novice in politics to fight for the mayoral position in the city of Joburg. Mr. Herman Mashaba is well known for his success in the hair care business Black Like Me, and is the man who says he can turn things around in Joburg. But is he up to the task? He joins us to tell us more. Mr. Mashaba, pleasure to catch up with you once again.
Thank you very much for this great opportunity.
You can hear in my opening question, I say, okay, everybody respects Herman Mashaba for his success in business, but can you succeed in politics? It's a different ball game to what you're used to.
Absolutely, team. Politics is a totally different ball game to what I'm used to the last over 30, 35 years.
Yes.
But at the same time, I think we need to find a way to really change the political game in the country so that we can really bring in ethical leadership into our space. The level of corruption, the level of mismanagement of our country, we cannot really go unchallenged. And I really call upon all of us, particularly people of Johannesburg, let's really begin to actually change the complexion of our political landscape.
Here's the problem with politics. It's a popularity contest, right? It's not only a values thing, like what you're suggesting. It's correct, maybe, that ethics and all of those things. Do you think and feel that there's enough support out there for the position that you've just explained and expressed now?
Fortunate enough, team Art accepted and took over this responsibility on the 27th of January. And immediately hit the ground running. Our campaign, every part of Soweto, Alexander, Senten, and so forth. And people on the ground are saying, you know what, Herman and the DA, we're ready for change. We've been lied upon the last 22 years. Our children are not working. Our communities are ravaged by crime. Unemployment is high. Please do something to really
Is that what people telling you?
Probably. The level of unemployment team is not something that I've created. It is here. We just had the Stats SA the other day giving us the latest stats. The numbers are going bad. And I think we need to really arrest this. We need to create Johannesburg to really be that platform that can provide employment opportunities to our people. And we do that by ensuring that I think we become a friendly the government, with a government that is responsive, and responsive particularly to the poor South Africans. We must be the government that understands and recognizes that small business has got a key role to really play in the employment of our people short term. So I think, yes, without any doubt, I'd really like to really get Johannesburg to be that city that provides opportunities to everyone in our city.
Firstly, let me ask, what persuaded you, to decide that I'm getting into politics?
I think I've really been concerned, team, myself for the last few years, but I never actually thought that one day I'll be eventually forced to enter the political field. I thought I'll just really be a member of civil society, active one. But the firing of Nene by Zuma overnight, causing irreparable damage to our economy, I then really said to myself, to really sit on the back and really be an armchair critic is no longer an option. And fortunate enough, I've really been talking to my colleagues on the DA, the party that I've been voting for all along. I really made myself available to really be the mayoral candidate. And fortunate enough, I've been given that honor. Now, the challenge is for me to really get residents of Johannesburg, the voters of Johannesburg, to allow me to be their servant. Because for me, this political game, it's not really about Herman being the mayor. It's about public service. And I can assure you, I'm not an ordinary kind of politician. I'm a public servant, and I'm committing and pledging to people of Johannesburg that I'm giving my life and ensuring that I think we can change their lives.
What do you say to the argument then on the side of particularly the ANC, because you mentioned President Jacob Zuma, who say, look at Herman now. He's a beneficiary of our policies, black economic empowerment. He became very wealthy. He's done very well for himself. Now he turns around and says there's something wrong with us. It's up to him with his wealth to create employment. He mustn't say politics should do that. We create people like Herman as the ANC, and we expect people like Herman to help create employment.
I think it'll be a laughable sad state of affairs. If we're going to really accept that successful South Africans like myself, privileged one, and I've been privileged for more than 35 years as a businessman. I started my business career under dark days of this country's history. When PW Border and the National Party said to me, as a black South African, I could not go into business. And I defied them. And now, 22 years in our democracy, is this democracy benefiting majority of South Africans? Because when you run government, you don't really run government on the basis of benefiting few. You need a government that runs the government on the basis of making sure that whatever policy that you implement, you make sure that you benefit majority of your citizens. If you don't do that, then you fail. You don't want to just really create Hermans in isolation. What you need to do, you need to create a platform so that people can create themselves. And we need millions. We don't just really, cannot afford to really run this economy on the basis of few successful South Africans. We need to make sure that this economy, this country, creates millions of Herman Mashabas that are extremely successful. Because when Hermans are successful, then it benefits the country. They create employment opportunities, they pay taxes, they do all the beautiful things. So for me, to really say that I benefited from Zuma's administration, I think it's laughable. It's actually quite sad. But at the same time, team, this government is not up to me. It's up to the people of this country to actually realize how we actually failed our society.
You say the turning point for you to decide to enter the political battlefield, if I can call it that, happened when President Zuma fired the finance minister, Nhlanhla, then in December. Why did it affect you in that way? And how do you rate President Zuma anyway?
President, on a score of 1 to 10, it'll be lucky to get -2. And I really mean it. I cannot really accept and understand from day one, how can this country really have someone like this to really be a leader of this great nation, a nation of Mandela, a country living under constitutional democracy, a country where citizens actually are the ones who decide every 5 years who their leadership is. For me, having Zuma as a leader is beyond imagination. That is why South Africa is becoming the laughingstock of the world. I mean, just the other day, team, to actually really learn, a country like Egypt, going through difficult period of their history, has overtaken our economy. A few years ago, we were taken over by Nigeria. We're now the third biggest economy in Africa. We used to be by miles, this economy used to be the biggest. What does this say to our people? What does it say to Mrs. Khumalo in Zanzibar? This says to us, we're failing Mrs. Khumalo. We're failing that young man in Carsons because we're not really creating the economy that is growing. Because for as long as this economy is not growing, we're going to fail.
But here's an argument. Somebody might say, you can't blame all these things on President Zuma. It's but one individual. I mean, maybe you over-exaggerating the importance of the president.
Fortunate enough, there's sufficient evidence that 40% of the challenges faced by this country, 40% of them are self-inflicted. We're scoring our own goals. So yes, we've got global challenges out there. We've got the US currency getting stronger. But without any doubt, talk to any economist, anyone, including treasury economists, 40% of the challenges of this country as a result of having a leader like Zuma as the leader of this country. So we're scoring our own goals. That is the reason why Mrs. Khumalo does not really have water and electricity. She still uses a pit toilet in the city of Johannesburg, 22 years into our democracy. Now, it's for that reason.
Now, you have gone out there and spoken to people, and of course you've got a platform as a DA on which you're fighting these elections, right? What are the people telling you from different parts of the city? I mean, probably in Sandton they'll complain about something different, but in Alex they've got some other expectations. But overall, what is the message that you're getting from the residents?
You see, overall, team engagement with our communities. One thing that we must not really take for granted. Our people didn't vote for ANC the last 22 years because they were stupid, because our people are not. People voted for the ANC because they believed them, they trusted them. They thought ANC was going to improve their lives. But what if our people experience lies, deceit, mismanagement? People here in the city of Johannesburg, next to Baragwanath Hospital, Motsoaledi settlement, our people are using pit toilets that I used to use in Haramutsi 50 years ago. 50 years ago in Haramutsi, when I grew up, we're using pit toilets. Today, Motsoaledi settlement, 2 kilometers away from Baragwanath Hospital, pit toilets, no access roads, no electricity, one of the highest unemployment rates in the world. But our children are playing in sewer, no sporting facilities. You know what, this team, this new South Africa, under President Jacob Zuma, is not fair to our people. And I think we've got to really change it. And fortunately enough, I represent an organization, a political party, that has proven, not pie in the sky. I represent the DA. In 2006, when DA won Western Cape, when we won Midvaal, just across from us, even Zuma's administration, even Zuma's government, accept and appreciate the fact that Cape Town, Midvaal, are the best run metros. So now it's up to people of Soweto, it's up to people of Johannesburg to actually really decide. Because you get a government that you vote into power. If some people of South Africa want me to really turn this city to be better than Cape Town, because when I take over this administration, I don't want it to really be like Cape Town. I want it to be better than Cape Town, because Johannesburg economy is much bigger and should be bigger than Cape Town. This is the economic heart of this country. But if this engine is not going to work, this whole country is not going to function.
Somebody watching this interview is thinking to themselves, you know, Herman is a politician now. They all start this way, making promises, but they'll let you down. And partly not because of their own doing, but because of the constraints under which they have to operate. Right? I can imagine the city of Joburg now would say, you know, we want to do all the things you're talking about, but we've got problems of budgets, for instance. We've got problems with residents not paying rates for some of the services. We've got problems of the numbers of residents who are growing at an exponential number than the growth rate that the local economy can sustain. And that is the typical problem of a city like Joburg.
Tim, I think, you know, for any democracy to function, and we're going to get Johannesburg to really be that engine, to really make sure that this democracy works, what we need to do, really get our people to hold us accountable. When they vote me into power on the 3rd of August, I'm saying to them, people of Johannesburg, please don't give me a blank check. Don't really wait 22 years to change me. So what you do is make sure that you have a responsive government, you have an accountable government, you have a government that's going to listen to you and act on your concern. If I don't do that, punish me. I'm not getting into this field, into this game to lose. I'm getting into this game to win. And I know the only way I can win and really get the support of our people, I've got to really deliver. And you know what, team? I can only deliver when I know society holds me accountable.
According to you, on your travels and campaigning, meeting with people, and some communities you probably were visiting for the first time, you now have got a sense of what Joburg is made up of, right? Those who don't travel around and are not politicians don't have that opportunity to see the rest of the city. What are they telling you? Are they ready for change, which is what the DA says it's fighting, or are they telling you that you have sold out and you've joined a white party, the DA as it's typically referred to? I mean, you probably are being told those things.
I'm actually quite encouraged. I mean, really inspired. And I know this job is not an easy job. It's a difficult job by any standards. But I didn't really come into it naively, in a naive kind of fashion. I knew what I was getting into. And the job is even much bigger. But one thing that is encouraging me when I engage with our people are saying, you know what? We've been fooled. We've been deceived. This is enough. The challenge for me in the beginning was to get them to understand that they've got to go out there and vote. Because some of the people were saying, we've been voting for 22 years. What's happening to us? Our children are not working. Drugs, alcohol, huge challenge. Our kids don't have good education. You know, what is encouraging and inspiring me is when I start engaging them to actually understand that the only way they can change their lives is to go out. The 3rd of August is around the corner. Go out there. Make sure that the ANC government falls. I'm making myself available to really be your mayor. But at the same time, when you elect me, make me accountable. Fortunate enough, team, I'm going to be working with councillors, committed members. And fortunate enough, you know, for me, I represent the political party that is the most diversified. No political party in this country today can compete with us in terms of diversity. We're not a black party, we're not a white party, we're the party of South Africa. We're the party that Mandela wished when he made the statement about the creation of a rainbow nation. We're living up to that. And this is the party that's going to deliver for our people. And let me just come in here.
Yeah,
people are going to be working with me as my ward councillors, representing people of Mofolo, representing people of Senton, people of Bramfisherville, are going to be local people, someone working in that community. And all these councillors have gone through a rigorous selection process to make sure that we don't really bring them in because of any other thing, except the fact that they're experienced, they've got a commitment, they're going to be signing the contracts with me to deliver. One thing I can promise people of Soweto,
we're still going
to any councillor that does not really deliver, they'll be out of work, because I'm not employing councillors that are really looking for careers. I'm looking for people who are there to actually save society.
Well, Mr. Herman Mashaba, we wish you good luck. And it's a new ball game, as I said, right?
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
It's contact sport, this.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. That's the DA's mayoral candidate for Joburg, Mr. Herman Mashaba. He's formerly a businessman, as you heard. He's promising that he can and will turn Joburg around. We wait and see. But of course, we're going to have ongoing debates on the issues facing the residents of Joburg and talking to the different leaders of the various political parties about their promises and how they will be contesting the local government elections.